So, what would you say for someone who is new to the game of podcasting, or perhaps maybe even content creation? Because at the end of the day, I know one of our very first conversation was that podcasting is a form of content creation. And then you can break down your podcast, and I've actually used that technique. I break down my podcast into like shorter videos, and perhaps even sometimes they inspire some of my articles, and I'm able to use them in different mediums. But what would be some of the other tips that you would tell a younger version of yourself from a year ago to know before you start, creating content in any way? What would be some of the advice or some of the things you just take a note of?
Okay, so I think the most important thing that I realized pretty recently actually is that in podcasting, and like with anything that you do, you should constantly be learning. So before I started the podcast, I did a bunch of research. I said, okay, how do I interview people? How do I set up the camera? How do I set up the microphone, the lights? How do I make sure the sound is good? I did a bunch of research. And then for quite a while, I stopped doing my research on how to take it to the next level. And it was only a few months ago where I was like, wait a minute, instead of continuously improving like in increments, in small increments, now I have to change a lot of things at once because I just got into like the grind, the routine of it. Although I still love doing it, I was kind of like, okay, record, okay, edit, okay, publish, okay, distribute. And I just kind of continue that over and over again without saying, okay, let's take a break. Let's review what's working, what's not working, and adjust accordingly. And if I can give anybody advice on podcasting is that even you now, you did 12 of them. Now look back and say, okay, what's working? What's not working? What can I do better? What can I optimize? Because after a few months, I stopped doing that. And that's where I think, I honestly think that I could have been even further ahead had I continued to do that.
Just share with me that experience. What does that feel like, or what has the journey been like having recorded over a year?
So at this moment, this week, I put out the 55th episode, which is crazy.
It is.
It's crazy to me, and it actually means a lot to me because before the podcast, I was always that person where I was like, oh, I have this idea. Oh, I have this idea. Oh, I have this idea, but I've never started any of them. So the fact that I was able to find something that I was truly passionate about, like I love podcasting, I love talking to people and meeting people. And the fact that I was able to find this and be able to continue it, not just do it like a one-time thing, is actually really meaningful to me because of all the struggle of never actually starting something before. Yeah, so I think it's very important when people start podcasts that they know why they're doing it. Because if you don't know why, if you're not clear about that, then you're just going to give up after 4 or 5 episodes. And I think the average number of episodes people do is 7, and then they stop. So several people have told me that same number over and over again, so I believe it. So you really have to know why, and I knew why I was doing it. I wanted to interview entrepreneurs about their journeys. That is what I was interested in, but also extract the value in what they've learned along the way. Almost like what we're doing right now. Right?